Hey guys, this is AJ here, back with another one. So today we are going to talk about the Deion Sanders Coach Prime situation. And I've been putting this one off a little bit because I wanted to see how much info would be out after X amount of time. And quite a bit of info has dropped. But before we do that, guys, remember to like and subscribe and drop a comment. I appreciate them all. So guys, Deion Sanders. You guys know me. I'm a lifelong Seahawks fan. But Deion, in his prime, was an absolute beast. He was a beast on the baseball field. He was a beast on the NFL, too. The guy was almost unstoppable, And even post-retirement, he's still doing his media stuff. He's giving back to the community. He's a businessman. He's a family man. He's a role model for all guys, not just black men, but all men, right? And now he has this Jackson State situation. For those who don't know, Deion Sanders wanted to coach, and he ultimately wanted to coach a D1 school, a big football program. So he had to start out because you just don't walk onto a program like that, right? So he had to go to an actual smaller school, and he chose Jackson State. Now, guys, he didn't have to do that. That was kind of a risk because historically, no HBCU coach has ever gone to the top level of coaching, right? So he goes down there. Right? He takes his family, uproots them, moves them there. You remember, Jackson doesn't have any water still, guys. Just like Flint. The water is bad. So he gets there. The locker room for his players is messed up. He had to redo the locker room out of his own pocket. The players don't have food cards, the meal cards. The administration said, hey, if you want your players to eat, they can get part-time jobs. Right? He's flying in water so that they can drink water. It's crazy. And then he reaches out to Under Armour, makes a deal, and gets them brand new uniforms. He figures out that Jackson State had to forfeit a bunch of games over the last 10 years because the administration couldn't put together airline tickets. So he reaches out to the airlines and says, hey, look, my guys need tickets. Boom, that's taken care of. When they're on the road, he gets his guys, Hugo Boss sponsors them, gets them suits so that they can look professional as they're traveling. They said it was so bad that when they were trying to practice, the field wasn't mowed. There were times where he had to go home and get his own mower and start mowing the field. What else do you want this guy to do? And so ultimately, their first season that he was there, I think they lost 3 games. Second season, they lost 2 games and were national champs. They were champions of their conference. The last season that he was there, undefeated champs. That's never happened in the history of the school. And now he's leaving. And all these people are telling him he's a sellout, you're this, you're that, you don't respect black people. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? And this really, really drives me nuts because, guys, I am black, right? And we always hear black people say, well, why don't people give back, blah, blah, blah. And it's because if you give an inch, oftentimes they'll try and take a mile. The guy he went above and beyond to get stuff done at this school. And there were times his cars got broken into on campus. And then there's that famous press conference where it was after the game that he won, and he goes back to his office, and someone broke into his office and stole his jewelry, stole his phone, stole his credit card. So this whole time that he's trying to do right by the school, and he's getting robbed, literally. And he's giving most of his salary back into the program. So he's basically almost paying to coach there. But guys, there's a little clip from Shannon Sharp's podcast where he interviews Deion. So let's just listen to this. I'll leave the link in the description box so you guys can check out the whole thing. But let's just jump into this right now.
And they're fans of yours.
Yes.
So it's like, man, I looked up to you and you offended me.
Right.
Like, how can you shoot at me and I looked up to you, man? Like, every word
And then sometimes I say, y'all offended me with that play. Come on, let's go.
I do understand the people,
But what I don't understand is do something about it. Won't you give a little more?
Right.
Won't you spend a little more time?
Right.
Won't you really try to bring solvency instead of sitting back throwing sticks and stones?
Right.
And it seems like all the people that are screaming and yelling and bickering and murmuring, check their giving. What have they given? When I was at Jackson, I told Ashley, unless they substantial givers, I ain't got time to be meeting with them.
Facts.
About what? About what? I have a vision for this school. I have a vision for this department. Why am I meeting with you to talk about what I should be doing and you ain't doing that?
Right.
Facts. So he is getting, they brought him in to make the football team better, put them on the map. And then everyone else from all the rest of the school saying, you should be doing this. He's a football coach. What is he supposed to do? He's not Jesus. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean by you give an inch and they try to take a mile.
And to talk about all in, both of my sons is on the team.
Right.
My daughter was playing basketball.
Correct.
And my son doing social media.
Right.
So who's all in? My mama there, my sister there, nieces there, nephew there. So who's all in?
Right.
My dog even now.
So here,
Who's all in?
all the Sanders.
Who is all in? Are you all in?
Right.
Because I'm all in.
But you said, and you said something very interesting, what you just said. You said, yeah, you offer all these critiques, but you ain't offering no check.
It ain't even just a check.
But that's what you need to be able to compete. That's what you need. You need resources. Without resources,
Okay.
look, would you not?
Forget the football part.
Okay.
Let's talk about the overall funding of school.
Okay.
And
We're talking about HBCUs.
period. I wanted to bring solvency to how are we broke? How are we always asking?
Right.
Why are we always in the deficit?
Right.
Everybody? You mean everybody? That's a problem for me. So let's investigate that. Not saying that anybody is stealing or doing anything unfair. Let's investigate it. So let's find the fault. So if it's the state, if it's the government, where is this coming? This lack thereof. Let's find it.
Mm-hmm.
I was willing to hire a team to audit and find this.
Well, of course they wouldn't do it. Because I've heard, look, I have never been to Jackson, but, you know, they said that there was some cases of the administration driving some pretty nice cars and some of the funding was not, you know, going to the schools. So it's like these schools, they tend to be mismanaged and all, but it's like, I don't know. It's just fishy.
Because it's impossible for all of us to be in the same situation.
Right.
Unless it is true that only 7% of graduates are giving back
Right.
to their alma maters. And when they give, it's not substantial.
Right.
So I believe that's a problem.
That's the issue. But you said something. You had an issue. Says, look, I don't mind playing all these bowls. I don't mind doing all this. But where is the money going? Is any money going back to the institution?
Facts. Because once you win a bowl game, you get millions of dollars. You get money. They were 2-time champions. So the second year he was there and the third. Where did that money go?
To the football team, you had a problem with going to play these bowl games, playing classics.
Yes.
And saying the money goes to the general scholarship fund. It goes to the school instead of the football.
Who's playing the game? Who's at risk?
Right.
Facts.
We are. So why should that not be in its totality ours?
Right.
Because we want enough to get us there.
Right.
Yep.
And that's my problem. And then when it comes to the classics, I just had a problem with that. It's another home game.
Right. That we lost.
We played in Miami last year, which was a classic, wonderful classic at that. We played in Memphis, which is a classic, wonderful classic, and we played in Alabama. That could have been 3 home games. And if we do our mathematics correctly and handle our business, that's at least $1.5 million a game.
Man.
At
$1.5 million.
least. We ain't see that. That would have been great, not for only the football department, but it would have helped the other departments as well. So that's just the way I think. My thinking is maybe because where we've been in life is way down the street.
Right.
It's not there.
He's basically saying he thinks like a businessman. He's not dumb. Just because he played football and maybe took a few headshots, he's not dumb. He's a businessman because he's got money. You know, I bet a lot of these administrations try and bully these coaches at these smaller schools because they need money. Well, guess what? Deion don't need the money. He's there to play football and make the program better.
It's way down the street.
Did you hate going to like these meetings with boosters that it felt like you were
I wasn't
begging?
going to no boosters meeting. I wasn't doing that. For what? $5,000? I'm not doing that. I can go
every little bit of help.
No. My time, no. No, that's an insult. My time is much more valuable than that. I'd rather be doing something with my kids. Not my personal kids, my kids
Right.
of the football team at JSU. I'm not doing that. And that's oftentimes what it is. I'm not doing that.
One of the comments, why couldn't he stay at Jackson State?
Here we go.
Build Jackson State into a Power 5. Why can't an HBCU be the prize?
Okay, tell me how you build that into a Power 5, because if you go into the Power 5 conference, all the other schools, sorry, let me re-enter that. If you go into a Power 5 conference, just say the SEC, you know all the other sports have to go too.
Right.
So you're not just talking about
Put the football team.
You're
You're not
talking
Notre
about
Dame. Notre Dame is independent. He can go. The football team might play
You're
here.
not-
The basketball team might play there. But you're not Notre Dame.
right, and also it's criteria that the school has to pass to be in those conferences.
Right.
And I don't know if that was going to be applicable to what we're trying to accomplish.
You also spoke out against HBCUs playing the University of Georgia or playing these Power 5 teams when you know you got no chance of winning. And then
It's a check.
they give you 500, they give you 600,000. And so by the
Oftentimes they don't give you that.
What?
Oftentimes I did a study and I showed it. We even tweeted it out and put it out there, Shannon. I mean, and I'm not picking on y'all. I don't want you to pick on y'all because of the incident with the coach. But I was really just shedding light. You had Alabama State go and play, do the numbers. They went to play UCLA.
Correct.
And UCLA requested the ban.
Ban.
Okay? That's 2 chartered flights.
Yes.
Let's just do a modest number of 300,000.
Correct.
That's $600,000.
Correct.
Okay, now you got to stay there for a couple days.
Right.
Because you're not flying all the way over there for a day and come right back. You got to stay there. So let's just do hotel accommodations as well as food. So you really at $1 million at least.
At the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum. I think the purse was like $650.
So you in a hold on, you in a deficit?
What? So basically,
To go get
That's
beat by
crazy.
50?
That's what it is. And that's not fair.
No. Now, if
Because
you
now
want to give me,
you can't look at that as it's a prize. We're going to play against you. You can't look at it like that. You got to look at it. Sooner or later, you got to put your business hat on and say, we got to do business.
and I think that's the people that have the backlash against Coach Prime leaving. It's a business, and people just think that it's football, but it's a business, and he's a businessman through and through, and you can't expect him to just throw money and time away, because y'all know time is the one thing we can't take back.
yes.
But it ain't no but in that one. It ain't no but in that one. And I hate to choose that, but I'm not choosing that on the basis of what the coach said. Your buddy, matter of fact.
Eddie Robb, I played against
Yeah,
Eddie.
yeah.
He was at Jacksonville and Tennessee.
I
Played
think
against-
he's a good guy too, by the way. I think he just got caught up in the moment.
Because also what I hear is that everybody can't be Deion. They can't build on what he started. He was Deion Sanders. How can they build on what you started, what you created?
You could take somewhat of the blueprint
Right.
and understand it. Let me just give you something simplistic.
And this is facts too, because Deion, with all his power and prestige or whatever, he was still a driven man. He was a man that was driven and had a goal, right? And guys, you can give a guy that's not ambitious, not motivated, and doesn't care all of Deion's clout, and he wouldn't have got done what Deion got done. It's about the man first, and then everything else second.
simplistic. We won, okay?
Okay.
We didn't win the championships. You all know the last 2 years. We didn't win that, but we had outstanding records.
Yeah, you in the swag.
Okay. We had a quarterback that can throw.
Yes.
Okay. The next best team in the SWAC is FAMU.
Right.
Up under Willie Simmons. Great offensive mind. They have a quarterback that can spin it. Go get you a quarterback that can throw.
Okay.
Because when we get you down by 14, it's a wrap.
Right.
So at least go do that. I'm gonna give you that blueprint. That one's easy.
Right.
Go do that. Right. Because it's running the ball, running the ball, running the ball. Sooner or later, in some games, you're gonna find yourself down and you gotta spin it.
Right.
Okay. So that's just something simple.
Okay.
Okay. There's so many other things.
Talk about this. You went through a lot. You went through the water crisis.
True.
And how
Like I said, guys, Jackson didn't have water. He paid to have water flown in there.
difficult was it on your team? How difficult was it on you to I got to win games, and people don't want to hear excuses. I've known you long enough to know you've never made excuses.
Right.
So and when I talk to you, we're not using that as an excuse.
You got time
So
for
we're
that.
gonna practice.
Yeah.
And we're gonna find a way. We're gonna make it work out. But
And
we got
did.
games to win.
And we did. And thank God that we had an AD that made it. And he was so helpful into what we did and what we accomplished because we were on the same page through it all. Through
Right.
all, we was on the same page. And we didn't have time for that. I mean, it was an ice storm there our first year. We were taking baths in the darn hotel pool, man. You know, the coaches and I.
Right.
That's how bad it was.
That's crazy.
But that's not something that the city of Jackson can control. Like
Right.
the water stuff is crazy. That's been going on for years. They need to just make up, be friends, and get that fixed. And that's, I think, billions of dollars to
Right.
handle that. But we don't trip, man. You know, it's so many things. It's not just Jackson that's dealing with adolescence and ignorance. It's multiple cities. But we don't make an excuse for it. We just keep on pressing and go make it happen, and that's what we did.
How did you convince your kids to not let the circumstance control the outcome?
We keep the main thing the main thing. Every
Yeah,
day I
word.
stood up in front
Facts.
of those kids, I gave them some type of message, whatever God placed in my spirit, and we prayed. That's how we start the day. And whatever was in my spirit, I gave it to them, and they ran with it.
Facts. See, what a role model. This guy, I mean, come on. And he's getting dragged for him moving on to Colorado State. And I thought that they had won the championships the second and the third year. I think that I was incorrect there. But guys, do you support Coach Prime? Because I do. Let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, I think he did his thing with, he gave 150%, you know. He put his heart and soul into the team. They did great. It's time for him to move on. And only the ignorant, the dumb, and the lazy should have, are giving him hell for this. All right, you guys, this is AJ. Like, subscribe, stay safe. I'm out of here.